Okay guys, well let's get started, but like I said earlier, I need you to watch the first video. I can't tell you how absolute important it is for you to follow along this process. Because if you remember, we brought Brett into the picture. He had never done co-wholesaling, and we were walking Brett through one of the 6 quick cash strategies, which is co-wholesaling. And I want you to be part of that journey, and I want you to keep up with everything that's going on. And it's going to be essential for you to make sure that you downloaded the blueprints from the last video training. So with that said, let's move forward and keep you guys going. But if you haven't watched video 1, go back now and watch video 1, okay? So here's what we did in the last video, just for an overview. We started looking for our wholesalers. From there, what we did was we qualified the wholesalers, then we determined what type of partner they are and what type of partners they have. Like, are they going to be a buyer partner or a deal partner? We also set the ground rules with them up front because we didn't want anything biting us in the butt at the end. So we made sure we were clear right away with them what was going on. We wanted to find out what type of inventory they have. Was it rental properties, rehab properties, and so forth. Also remember the meeting with the partners. That was by far one of the most important things we had to do, because this allowed us to get to know them better, because being out there on the job site with them or the property, it's neutral grounds, right? And we can get to know them a little better and see what type of inventory they have and what it looks like and what they're getting. Now I want you to remember Steve. Hopefully you watched video 1. If you didn't, go back and watch it, because we obviously met Brett. You guys remember Brett. He was the minister in the local area that we're walking through this process. You also, guys, you remember Steve. We did that in the last video, and if you remember, we went out to the house that he had and we started looking at all this. The best part about it was, if you remember, he had many deals, okay? And he was getting more all the time, and that was the great part. He had ones that was, rehabbed. He had all kinds, but the one we went and saw was a rehab one, okay? And that was one that needed some work done to it. The best part was, is if you remember, I asked Steve, I said, Steve, what do you think about co-wholesaling? And Steve said, I love the idea of co-wholesaling. And he had never even been introduced to it before. And see, that's what I want you to understand, that the more people you get involved into your business model, the better you're going to be and the faster you're going to grow. And that was the key here. So let's recap that. On Saturday, Steve spoke to Brett about the idea of co-wholesaling. On Monday, they were able to set the appointment, and we were on the property, and everything was moving forward, and that was the best part. So let's review how fast this is really going. And this is why I want you to be part of this, because this thing is going to blow you away at how fast you're going to start building your business and start getting deals coming through. Brett had the first meeting set up with Steve within just a few days of actually even starting this entire process. They met again just a few days later. So we weren't even, we're probably maybe 5 days in this whole thing, and he's already out there looking at inventory, meeting people, building his business model. And after that, he had a list of houses from other wholesalers just a few days later. So let's think about this. From the time Brett had actually even started with us, just a couple of days later, he was already setting things up, meeting people on the field. Just a couple of days later, from all of his calling to find people who had inventory, he had already had a whole stack of them. He had a list of things that he needed to go and start liquidating to buyers. And that's exactly where you want to be. And did it cost him any money? No. It cost him $0. It cost him zero. He didn't have any experience in this, and you don't have to neither. That's the best part. So I hope you're following along and doing this with us, because this is exciting, and I want you to be excited about this, because the more you follow along with us, the faster you're going to see these results too, okay? So what's the next step, right? We're all excited, We've went out, we've met Steve, we've met Brett. We know he's out in the field. We know everything that's going on. So what do we do next? Well, let's tell you. It's getting partners, okay? That's the big part right now. We've got the inventory now. We got to get the partners. And so here's what I want to take you through now. Partners looking for buyers. What type of buyers are they looking for? That's what we got to be clear on. Partners looking for deals. What type of deals are their buyers looking for? That's important for you to get as well, okay? The co-wholesaling script. So here's what I want you to do. If you have not gotten the script yet, go right below right now. Download that script because that's going to be key for your success. Also download the other things that we've given you as well because there's a lot of free stuff in this training module alone. So let's look at this. What's the script for? It's so that you know what to say, how to say it, and when to say it. That's the most important part. So as we get moving forward, this is where you're going to see what type of inventory they have, and you're going to be able to start communicating with them correctly. Okay, if the wholesaler has inventory, you're going to want to say the following, and that is exactly why we gave you this script. You'll say, oh, well, that sounds great to hear that you have inventory. Can you tell me about some of the deals you have? Let them talk. I'd like to see some of your properties if they are available. Is there any way that we can set a meeting and go out and see some of your inventory and let them tell you what dates and times? Great. Well, we'll meet you out there on Monday, and we will see what type or what you have available. We will see if it's something that I am interested in, or if it may fit some of the needs of one of our other investors may want to come out and close on the deal. If we bring another investor to the table, are you okay with wholesaling? Now, let's be clear. They may say yes, they may say no. That's why we give you the script. If they say no, you say the following. If they say yes, then that is when you're going to move forward and you're going to realize that you're sitting on a gold mine right now, because that's the beauty of this entire whole model is when they say yes, that's fine, then you groom that relationship with them. You go out and you meet them on the job site and you look at their inventory. If they're okay with co-wholesaling, this is when you want to talk about getting paid on the deal. So let's explain that. Great. We typically split the assignment fee with our partners in the deal. You understand. You bring the deal, we bring the buyer. It's a 50-50 split. Also, we have co-marketing agreements that we'd like to send over to you that you can you review and look at it. It just basically gives us the rights to market your deal. Where should I send that to? We just lay it out on the table for them. We want them to be clear on how we do business. If they say no, say the following, and it's just a way of explaining it. I completely understand. Maybe you don't understand the term co-wholesaling, but just the process. Co-wholesaling is where I bring the buyer and you have the deal. If your buyer closes on the deal and there is a $10,000 fee, we would split that fee with you and just walk them through that process is all you want to do. Because they may not have ever heard of co-wholesaling, but they understand, you bringing them a deal. So guys, you see that? I mean, that right there alone is why we put this stuff together, because once you just use it and you get comfortable with it, it helps guide you. It helps lead you to what? The next step, right? Here, let's go to the next step. So what's the next step? Getting partners with buyers. That's what it's all about. So this is the sheet that you'll keep up with your buyer's information, the investor profile sheet. You're just going to go through it and track your information. You will also use this sheet to track co-wholesalers' buyers' information. So knowing your buyer's needs first will save you time and money. I'm going to tell you this again. I said it on the last video. It's not the deal. It's the buyer that makes you money, okay? Always know who is buying and what they're buying before you start your marketing, because you may have a buyer who pays cash, you may have a buyer who needs a loan, you may have a buyer who can't get a loan. You need to be able to find deals for all three of those different types of buyers, okay? So let's break down the investor profile sheet. It's going to give you the ability to know your investors' criteria ahead of time. So, part one, we just gathered their information about the investor, what type of, are they a new investor, have they been around a while? Part two, we're going to figure out what areas of interest them the most. What percentage of fair market value do they want to be buying at? Part three, we're going to get into what, what area do they buy properties in? What area of interest is it? Like low income, middle income, what price range, so that we can keep up with that information. We're also going to get into what type of properties they're interested in. And that's the key, guys. And the last part we're going to go into, do they currently own properties, and do you plan to invest this year? And then we're also going to ask them how quick can they close? And the key is, are they open to partnerships? So when you're dealing with other wholesalers, that's what you need to find out. Are they open to partnerships? Yes, great. So let's get all your buyers' information in ours. They don't have to give you the detailed information, but just some of it, so you know what their buyers are looking for. And then that will obviously bring you to the next step. So we're moving through this, guys. If you notice, it's a building block as we're going through. Video 1 led to video 2, and then video 2, we're moving forward with building our buyers and how we get our buyers' information. Overview of what is about to happen. Let's talk about that, because I want you to be clear what we're about to do. We're going to walk you through the process of calling co-wholesalers for buyers, okay? We want to find other wholesalers who have buyers so we can bring them to our deals. Also, we want to find our own buyers. So start calling buyers that you know already and ask the important question to know what they want. Pull out your investor profile sheet and start going through it, okay? It's very important that you do that and utilize it. We'll need to pin down a buyer if we have a deal they are interested in. So if they say, yes, that sounds good to me, then we want to get that buyer to the table. So what's the next step in this journey? Well, the next step is, now let's take a look at the software. The software that you guys have and you downloaded, and you don't even have to download it. It's web-based. You just got to go to the web link. I want us to walk through that software. I want to show you how easy this software is to use and how quickly you can start finding other wholesalers in your area that you can start doing deals with, or in your surrounding areas that you can start bringing in and showing them how you do business, and find buyer wholesalers, find deal wholesalers, and build a strong foundation. So let's take a look. Alright guys, here we are. We're in the connected, search engine for finding wholesalers, investors. There's over 25,000 investors in here that are wholesalers or anything that we can start immediately looking for co-wholesalers. You have a whole drop-down menu here if you're looking for specific people, but I'm just going to search for any, and then I can put my zip code in. Let's say it's 90210. I used to watch that as a kid, so why not? Let's see if we got some buyers over there. All I got to do is hit search. Once I hit search, immediately it's going to pull up, literally in seconds, all the different wholesalers I have in those markets. So it tells me where they are, gives me an entire list of who they are. Look, invest wholesaler, wholesale, little of everything, wholesale. So I can start calling these people, and I can start building appointments and setting up our meetings to talk to them about what they're doing and how we can start doing some co-wholesaling together. Now, if I want to see who this guy is, I can click on him, or if I want to get contact or detailed information on these investors, I just click here, fill out my information, hit submit, and we will email you all their contact information. You can start emailing them, setting up appointments to work with them, all right there at your fingertips. So I just wanted you to see how easy this is for you to really get started, and no more complaints that you don't have buyers, no more complaints that you can't find wholesalers. It's all right here at your fingertips. So go ahead and start using this. Click on the button below, get started, put in your zip code, and start finding people in your area. So let's recap of the steps to take as we move forward through this process. So I want you to be clear. The first thing you got to do is start looking for wholesalers. That's the very first thing you got to do. And we talk about how you do that, all right? The second thing you got to do is qualify the wholesalers, okay? To figure out, is the wholesaler even on board with what you want to do? And then you got to determine what type of partner they're going to be, so that we know if they have buyers or if they have sellers, or, what's the deal and where are they at. Then you've got to set the ground rules up front with them them as you're moving through the process, because you don't want it to come back and get you in the end. You also want to find out what type of inventory they have, and then once you know their inventory, you'll know if some of the buyers you have is even interested in their inventory. You want to find partners with the co-wholesaler script. You want to use that script to qualify those partners along the way, because then you're going to be able to know if they're on board, and it's just going to make your life that much easier by being able to use the scripts that we have in place for you to be able to put these deals together. The other thing you want to use is you want to start using the investor profile sheet so that it can start to outline what type of buyers you have, what type of buyers you're looking for, and what type of buyers your other wholesalers have, so that you can move through this transaction and just have an easier process because you have all their information available. So as we move through this, that's what all this is for. The other thing you want to do is use the software. Okay, pull other wholesalers in your area. Know your buyers or co-wholesalers' needs so that when you move forward, you're able to put these deals in a more streamlined process. But start using the software. Start picking markets all over the U.S. Start running multiple zip codes. Find your wholesale partners so that you can use the software to help you build that foundation and do it fast. Okay, so actions for the New School Investor Phase 2. Remember, Phase 1 was on the last video. Phase 2 is on this video. And we all want to be part of the New School Investor because this is how we're doing it. So you want to find more wholesalers. Go out there and immediately do that. That's an action item I need you to do before the next video. Pick your partners. Determine which one's which. I want you to do that before the next video. Okay? It's very important that you do that. What you also want to do is you want to find your buyers. Look for your own buyers and find other wholesalers who have buyers that they just can't get inventory in front of, and so that you can start bringing that to them. And then that'll lead you to the next step of what we're about to get into. And so guys, I want you to make sure you write those action items down, because that's very important that you do that, because our next step is closing some deals. Okay, we want to get the deals closed and we want to get paid on these deals. So in that process, we're going to take you down. We want to show you how we take buyers that are ready and willing to buy, and we get the deals closed with those buyers. Because that's the most important part. If the buyer's ready, get them closed. So I'll see you in the next video. And listen, make sure you leave your comments and questions below. Put them down there, write them out. Let me get in here and answer what's going on. Let me figure out what's stopping you. If you're having some hiccups along the way, just ask. I'll be there. I'll tell you what you need to do, okay? But you don't want to miss the next video. That is the most important part. So leave your comments below, and I'll see you on the next video.